I were joined with Drew from Nihtek. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you, Noor.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and about your company.
Okay, well, I've been in the sports nutrition space now for 3 decades. When I say sports nutrition, I generally mean traditional sports nutrition, protein, whey protein, dairy protein, etc., etc. From all levels. If you've heard my Australian accent, though you said earlier, I don't have much of an Australian accent. I am originally from Australia. As I said, 30 years in sports nutrition, but for 20 of those years, I've lived overseas, especially in Asia.
In Asia? Where in Asia?
In China.
Oh, nice. Do you speak Chinese?
A little bit more 能说一点的中文，不太好。
Good.
I don't speak very well.
I wouldn't understand. Scared?
It sounds fluent to you when you don't understand, but actually it's 非常一般的中文。
What took you to China?
An entrepreneur endeavor, I would say, more than anything. For 30 years in the industry, but for 10 of those years, I was working for GNC, General Nutrition Center, a whole bunch of others. I started lifting weights and pumping protein shakes at a very young age. But, you know, one thing in Australia, and some people have heard about this, we've got this thing called the glass ceiling.
Yes.
You know, it's hard to go, you know, very far. You see a lot of, in Hollywood, you know, a lot of Aussie actors and filmmakers. Australia's the best country in the world, no doubt. I mean, for many, many reasons, it's an amazing country and I love my country. But, you know, when you've got an entrepreneurial spirit, sometimes it can feel a little bit restrictive.
So you go to the US?
Yeah, the US and other markets and China, you know, wanting to, you know, as I said, always, you know, I wanted to be a multi-millionaire in 6 months when I first landed in China 20 years ago and, you know, retire on a beach in Australia. That's what everyone wants to do. However, businesses are much more difficult than that in reality.
Business is a whole life.
It's a whole life, and I think you got to, well, for me at least, you got to love what you do. And I certainly love what we do. We've got an amazing team.
Okay, so what brought you to ExpoWest?
ExpoWest? Well, why wouldn't you be here if you're in nutrition? This is the place to be. To meet you, Noor.
Oh, so much. Okay, I hear you have a new product, like the dairy that is not dairy?
The dairy that is not dairy, yeah. Actually, we say on Instagram, and our hashtag is no way it's not whey, or no way it's not whey protein. Because everyone cannot believe that it's not dairy. So yeah, we started working on this about 5 years ago. Again, when I said earlier, 30 years experience in sports nutrition, I'm a dairy guy, a whey protein guy, because it's a better protein. It tastes better, it mixes better, it digests better, has better leucine content, better amino score. It's a better protein. But in the last few years, as you may or may not know, are you aware much of the whey protein industry in the last few years? What's happened?
A lot changed.
What?
Regulations?
Yep.
Me, I'm regulation side.
And price.
Oh.
Whey protein, dairy protein, it's just skyrocketed through the roof in the last few years, like crazy. You know, jelly about I speak in kilos, sorry for my American listeners, in pounds. I don't think, only Americans say pounds, right? So in kilos, you know, WPI, whey protein isolate, was usually around $9 a kilo, $9.50 a kilo. At the moment in the US, it's $22 a kilo. Door to door. I mean, that's crazy, right?
Crazy.
It's a great protein, but it may not be sustainable for a business source. So about 5 years ago, we started working, my co-founder behind over there, the Boda's offer, Bodhi Kwai, and he's been a plant protein dude for a very long time. Yeah, I know that. That's what I thought too. We were friends. It tastes horrible. It doesn't digest. I think. I mean, some people who know me say know that I'm not a big, you know, plant or vegan protein fan. So we really went over and beyond creating a protein. What we like to call is protein for everybody. The hydrolyzed Nihpro protein isolate. It's we don't position ourselves as a vegan brand. We don't position ourselves as a dairy brand, but we happen to be both dairy and vegan friendly. Protein for everybody.
Okay. So if you're lactose intolerant, you can take
100% lactose free.
Amazing. Sugar?
Sugar free. Because even in dairy, lactose is a sugar.
Yes.
So it is, by definition, has sugar. It's a small amount of whey protein isolate. Doesn't have a lot of lactose or sugar, but there is sugar. Ours is 100% lactose and sugar-free.
Okay. Wow.
And GMO-free,
And GMO.
lactose and allergen-free.
Oh. Nice.
But tastes very, very similar to dairy. When it tastes, you can try some as well. I'll shake some up. Tastes very similar to dairy. Digestibility. Do you know what DS is? Digestible indispensable amino acid score.
Yeah.
Pedicus.
Yep.
Okay. This is Pedicus 1. It's also DS 116. WPI is 109. WPC 97. Soy protein isolate 91. Rice protein like 40. Doesn't even know
high quality protein.
It's very high quality protein. You know, it's one way of measuring is the DS score, and it's actually higher than WPI.
Thinking of selling supplements or skincare on Amazon in 2025? Then you need to hear this. Amazon isn't playing around with compliance anymore. If you make any kind of health or beauty claim that supports immunity, fights aging, whatever, they want proof, real proof. That means COAs, safety data, and verified lab testing. Here's the thing. Most sellers wait until they get flagged to fix it. But by then, your listing's already down and your sales are gone. That's why Calitex Laboratories launched an Amazon compliance lab testing service, built just for supplement and cosmetic brands trying to stay ahead of the game. We handle micro testing, heavy metals, label reviews, stability studies, so basically everything Amazon and the FDA wants. Trust me, Amazon Supplement COA requirements 2025 are only getting stricter. Getting compliant is one of the smartest decisions you can make for your business. So if you want to stay listed, stay trusted, and keep selling, head to Calitex.com and let's get your product Amazon proof.
Why did you do that?
Again, I'm a dairy guy. I don't like plant vegan protein, and not everyone does. So we wanted to create something on all areas that what people love about a dairy protein, and taste, solubility, mouthfeel, texture, digestibility, DS. I mean, if you tick all those boxes, that has all of the selling points of a dairy, but is dairy free, then even I would drink it.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you assure that you have a good, sustainable, and ethical sourcing for your products?
Well, by definition, it's a non-dairy. I honestly believe that some of the sustainability clauses on those against dairy and those against beef, I think, are exaggerated. I don't think getting rid of all dairy and I love steak. I'm an Australian. I love my barbecue. Absolutely, I'm not a vegan.
I love it.
Also,
Illegal, but I love it.
absolutely, I just had tuna poke next door, but I was rushing and came here to do the interview with you. So, I mean, I believe dairy is important as part of our diet. I believe meat is important as part of our diet. So I think some of the sustainability aspects, things are exaggerated to some degree. However, the carbon footprint, if you are looking at a plant-based, and we are actually plant originated, but with our technology, we have greatly transformed the original raw material plant into something that's far superior in a category of its own. Yes, so we are more sustainable in that terms, but it's not an area we're actually focused on selling. Quite frankly, my own personal opinion, I think the whole sustainability when it comes to plant and sustainable proteins is greatly exaggerated and usually marketing hype. Yeah, we're sustainable, but I don't focus on that. Why? I focus on the quality of the protein, the taste of the protein, the amino acid of the protein. That's what should matter.
And how would you assure transparency with the consumers? How can they make sure that your product is good for them?
That's an excellent question. So one little phrase we have, is our other hashtag on Instagram, is forged by nature, backed by science. We have a team of PhDs, some very world-renowned PhDs that actually do the third-party clinical research to really prove. So our DS score, the digestible indispensable amino acid score, was independently verified using again, we're not a vegan brand, but we're vegan friendly, using an in vitro non-animal study to measure the DS, the digestible amino acid score. That's our tongue twister, isn't it? So yeah, we do a lot of we're GMO third-party certified. We just got literally yesterday morning from my home country in Australia. Have you heard of FODMAP?
No.
FODMAP friendly.
What is that?
It's a diet for those that have gut stress-resistant IBS. So things that would disturb the gut health and may cause IBS or other problems. It's like an autoimmune related disease. So it's now a global thing, but FODMAP friendly, right? Our protein just yesterday, third party verified, third party tested, has approved FODMAP certified friendly protein. And dairy protein, yeah, well, we're vegan friendly, but we're not a vegan brand. We're a new category. Hydrolyzed isolate. What differentiates us over, everything really? It's in a new category. We use advanced precision hydrolyzation, really helping break down the proteins into particles, almost like a peptide, quite a peptide, so the mouthfeel, the digestibility, and we also remove those nasty tastes. So it's a protein that is maybe vegan friendly, but is no longer resembling a vegan brand.
Your Amazon listing could be taken down, so listen to this carefully. Amazon is enforcing stricter third-party lab testing rules, and sellers in high-risk categories are feeling the heat. Sellers with incomplete reports, sellers who use non-accredited labs or provided lab reports in the wrong format. The list goes on, and that's literally all it takes to lose your listing. At Calatex, we specialize in Amazon-compliant third-party lab testing, so your products stay live and your revenue stays protected. We are a certified lab trusted by Amazon for testing supplements, cosmetics, you name it. We provide you with Amazon formatted reports with correct identifiers, test methods, and pass or fail results. We do batch by batch testing, so your replenishments meet compliance without delay. We also provide expert guidance on what tests your product needs and what it doesn't. Whether you're launching a new product or trying to get your listing back up, Calatex makes sure your paperwork is done right the first time. So don't lose sales over bad reports. Get tested the right way at calatex.com and keep your listings live on Amazon.
How do you see the trends in the next few years in the market?
In the whole industry or?
In the sports supplements.
Well, I think what we've seen, I'm an OG in the industry. I was pumping protein shakes and lifting weights when I was 12 years old. So I think what's happened, which is amazing, it's now gone from niche, to this mass market. Protein consumption globally has dramatically increased. In fact, we're all heading to, you heard the term protein crisis? Protein crisis, it's a real thing because there's far more demand than there is supply. And I believe in the next 2 years, and that's why the whey protein prices are through the roof. Again, whey protein's a great protein, but there's just not enough supply and way too much demand. It's about 10% globally, but in other countries like Asia and China, it's 25%.
Wow.
Growth year in, year out since COVID, since 2020.
Wow.
It's not sustainable.
It's not. If we want to know more about your products or we want to get in touch with you, how can we do that?
Sure. So you can go to Nihtek.com. That's Nihtek.com, which stands for Nature's Innovative Health Technologies.
Okay.
Or on Instagram or LinkedIn, Nihtek, or YouTube, Nihtek. That's how you find us.
Amazing. It was such a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much for the time you gave us. And I hope you enjoy your experience at ExpoWest.
Thank you very much. And what's your podcast? How do we find you?
Well,
because my mates are filming it right here.
So my podcast, Nourify and Beautify.
Purify and
Beautify. It's the podcast that shows you the other side of beauty. So what we do, we speak about the life cycle of the product.
Okay.
Everyone uses a beauty products.
Okay.
Either if it's
internal or you don't need your natural beauty, right?
Nobody doesn't use anything, and that's your lie. So either external or internal. So most of the time you have the beauty from
within and it shines out.
Exactly. So what we want to know is how we choose our products in the market, how we read labels, and we want to hear from the owners and from the creators of the product, why did they create their products.
So the story, you have to give it a listen. Have to tag me on YouTube or LinkedIn when you share this.
I'll do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.